James Carville issues list of the 7 dirty words Democrats need to ditch right now. Love him or hate him, the Raging Cajun James Carville is highly opinionated. He is definitely holding the Democrats' feet to the flames right now when it comes to a lot of the nonsense that's going on and some of this idiocracy that they're pushing. So we're going to play some clips and hear what he has to say about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. And that's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account. So follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Red State. And they report that for those of us of a certain age, we remember the late comedian George Carlin. Do I ever? He's one of my top 5 favorite comedians. And his list of the 7 dirty words you can't say on television. Yes, I definitely remember that. Decorum prevents me from listing them here. I wish he would. But take my word, it was hilarious. Y'all can check the clip out on YouTube. Fast forward a few decades, and you can now say just about all of them on television. Now, in an attempt to save what's left of his party, former strategist James Carville has come up with a list of his own dirty words that Democrats needs to dump ASAP. But will they listen? Of course not. They're definitely not listening to to James Carville. You got a New York Post. They tweeted out, James Carville warns Democrat far left jargon like equity is turning voters off, just not helpful, he says. And that's true. Like equity, like anyone, once I hear equity come out your mouth, I automatically start tuning you out. I automatically know you're coming with the nonsense. That's definitely one of the words. But in a Politicon video released on Tuesday, Carville rattled off several of the Democrats' favorite words and phrases. You know, oligarchy is the new one too. I wonder if he talks about that. Oligarchy, I don't, it's tons of words that the Democrats use that just automatically I start tuning you out when I hear them. But the ones that usually have average Americans rolling their eyes and went on to explain that Democrats need to stop using these words and phrases because it's not helping them. It's not helping their messaging. The problem is that they have not figured out that their main problem is messaging. No, they're blaming everything except for the message. They're blaming racism, sexism, xenophobia, what else? You know, the usual stuff that Democrats blame for their losses. And it's falling on deaf ears. But Carville gave it an old college try. He started off the list with the phrases communities of color. Yep. People of color. Yep. He said that Democrats' zeal to prove how not racist they are. These phrases actually are a bit racist because they imply that all minorities are identical and not unique. And I talked about that before. They all put us in one group and say that, you know, you're all the same. But if Democrats stop using these phrases, will they then have to concede that not all minorities think alike? A tall order indeed. Next on the list was the phrase generational change, Carville. So let's just get to the clip. It's down here. Here we go. Let's hear what he has to say about it. Here we go.
Don't use the word equity, use equality to your little heart's desire. People basically don't know what it means. And if they do know what it means, it looks like you're trying to force an outcome. This is another really stupid word, oligarch. Who the fuck knows what an oligarch is?
I love it. And I was wondering if that was going to be one of the words. Normal people don't use the word oligarch or oligarchy. In normal conversation, you only hear that from leftist pundits, the fight the oligarchy and things like that. But the so-called oligarchy are actually the ones that support the leftist causes, support the Democrats' agenda. You know, you got the George Soros, the Alex Soros, and the like. But they talk about fighting against them, though. Yeah, right. It's a gimmick, and we know that. We see a grift. We know a grift when we see it.
Right? As opposed to a very acceptable word I talked about before is fat cats. Everybody knows what a fat cat is. Everybody talks about what a fat cat is. I wouldn't use the word community. I don't have nothing wrong with the word community, nothing wrong with being in a community. But it's just such a democratic word. And really, the community we all live in is the community of humankind.
Facts.
And it's not a terrible word. I wouldn't even use the LBGQT plus or whatever it is. I just call people gay, or lesbian, or trans, or bi. I don't know. There's nothing. It's just the way you are. But you don't need to come up with other words for things.
But they like to put people in a box. They put you in this box, and if you don't fit in that box, then you're an outsider. You're a part of the LGBTQ. You're a woman. You're a person of color. They like putting people in boxes for some reason, and you can't just simply put people in boxes because not all people are the same.
Just use the word that is most commonly used among people as they talk to each other. I had a friend from high school. He's gay. She's a lesbian. Fine. Okay, no, who cares? You say, well, it's LBGTQ, but I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Tune out.
You're trying to signal that there's something wrong with the term, or you're just trying to show people how smart you are. So don't use words like that. Don't use words like intersectionality.
God. Yes, I loathe that word intersectionality and racism. Like, come on, man. Like, in what world do you actually talk like that in real life? When do you ever use intersectionality in a real conversation with normal average people? You're so fake. You live in this ivory tower. You want to pretend like you're smarter than everyone else. That's the only reason why you would use these stupid terms.
Pandemic. I was listening to NPR, and they had this panel discussion like they do, and they talk about intersectionality. I literally thought they would kind of go overboard in ecstasy on the radio. And okay, it's a real thing. No one uses the term intersectionality except for NPR.
Right.
So I guess what I'm saying is, between now and, of course, the clock is ticking. They got a lot of time to do a lot of damage. We're going to have limited time to make our case. When we have whatever limited time we have, and we're fighting back at all this, I think we should be very careful. I guess somebody's, they said a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and of course it is. A word is a terrible thing to waste. And, Mark Twain famously said, the difference between the right word and a nearly right word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. So when you hear your elected representative, you hear Democrats, you hear sane people using words that are not the right word, let them know that that kind of language is not helpful. It's not doesn't make you a bad person. It's just not helpful. You're wasting an opportunity to make your case home.
Yeah, you're just turning people off. You're just turning people off at this point, using these dumb words that nobody really use in real conversations. But speaking on falling on deaf ears, I'm sure James Carville message is going to fall on people's deaf ears. The Democrat Party, they're too far gone. They're not going to take heed to any of this advice. I don't see them changing. They're doing more of this stuff that are turning people off. So I don't see them changing. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.